Our government is totally deaf to all these warnings, and we cannot afford to be deaf with them. Unfortunately, for many people, many of the other issues, however important they are, and they're very, very important, seem to take precedence over this one. But I don't want to talk any longer. I just want to say that unless we solve this problem, all the other struggles that people are involved in will be rendered meaningless. In 4 or 5 years or 10 years' time, a tipping point will be reached beyond which we will never recover. And that's something that every person has to understand, and the job of everyone here and everyone who understands this now is to make sure that 10, 20, 30 others understand it, so that we really have a mass movement.
Here we are in London. This is Westminster Bridge, I believe, which we closed at about 10 to 11. I don't know how long we'll be here, but the aim of today wasn't just to have a march, to come and go, but to leave more of a lasting impression because of the state of emergency that we find ourselves in because of the climate and our government's utter inability to respond appropriately. That's why we're here.
Like a polar bear stranded on its shrinking ice floe, we'll be standing on a wasted earth with nowhere else to go. The weather is changing, it's gonna be extreme. Maybe we'll even lose our beloved Gulf Stream. They say it's the fossil fuels we burn without a care, and CO2 emissions concentrated in the air. Yes, it's carbon dioxide that warms the atmosphere. It's the culprit. We must wage a war on carbon, it is clear. We must capture carbon, neutralize it, sink it in the sea. Hang on. Carbon's just an element. All human race tackling the biggest challenge we have ever faced. Yes, discover the truth of how less can be more than our lovely living planet will sustain and restore.
Most concerning that the ice caps are nearly gone, and once we've lost the ice and the albedo effect, then I'm really scared about that. Instead of reflecting sun, we'll be absorbing heat. And I did an A-level, an environmental studies A-level a few years ago, self-study, and in chapter 1 it became apparent to me that, you know, there are some things that are fundamental to keeping our planet stable, and that's one of them.
At the start of this year, I made the mistake of subscribing to every environmental newsletter I could. Every morning, the view of our world through my inbox is terrifying. The ice caps are melting, the sea level's rising, the coral reefs bleaching, there's an increase in drought, floods, wildfires, hurricanes and storms. We've emptied our oceans of fish and replaced them with plastic. We're choking our cities with air pollution, especially here in London. We're fast destroying our few remaining fragile ecosystems, and we're in the midst of the 6th greatest extinction. This is our reality. This is my future.
There is still a chance, a small chance, that we can turn that around now and prevent it getting too hot. I'm scared that the temperatures will get to a point where food won't grow properly, and we'll be fighting over food. Yeah. We're already fighting over water, and that more and more people will have to leave the countries they live in because they can't live there, they can't grow food, it's too hot, and they will be trying to move into places like our country where our leaders aren't really prepared to give them much of a warm welcome, and I'm scared that humans are not going to love each other enough to cope with that.
Climate change is a global issue, and it's going to require global solutions, but this stands in stark contrast to a world today that is moving towards nationalism and isolationism. Climate change doesn't care about borders, it doesn't care about fucking Donald Trump.
I think we need a completely different system. This isn't going to work. We could be tinkering at the edges and saying, oh, plant some more trees and chop a few trees down. No, it really needs to be. This is why I'm supporting the Extinction Rebellion, because I think their manifesto and I think the demands make sense. So the demands are call a state of national emergency to reduce carbon emissions to zero by 2025, which needs point one. People's Assembly, that's the third point. That the People's Assembly is formed out of citizens, and we, the people, help make the decisions about what happens next, not just the people who are, and I can't blame them, they're so far removed from what's going on in their ivory tower, the lawmakers. It's very hard for them to really understand how they could make a change.
All for one and one for all, united we stand and divided we fall. We're British, we're proud, so we got to walk tall. Don't give them the power, 'cause they'll take it all.
To be honest, I really feel like this shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't be here. It's really, really sad that we've actually got this to this point where we're having to come together to ask our government to make a change when it's such a serious issue. I feel like I've been forced to come here because I know how serious this issue is. I teach about this every single day, and my students say to me, well, what are we doing about it? So how can we prepare? The UN have actually declared that we have an existential crisis. How do not people know about that? The people that I speak to, I seem to be the only one aware of this. The media needs to get this message out there, and it's really sad that the media is not focusing on the biggest issue facing this entire planet. I feel really sad that we have to fight. I come from war. I came here as a refugee, and I know how awful it is. It's really sad that climate change is likely to create more and more refugees in this world, and people are probably going to have to suffer even more than they should. This should have been fixed probably 10 years ago. I remember fighting for this 10 years ago as a sixth former, and it's really sad that it hasn't been. So I'm really, really pleased that we're gaining this movement here today, and I really, really hope it continues, because otherwise, I cannot see a future for the children that I teach.
The manifesto includes a complete new system, so usury would be illegal. You would not be able to make money on money. Land ownership is a very vital part. If people don't have access to land, they can't feed themselves. That is a problem. And we also know that there isn't room for everyone to be living in the countryside growing their own food. So it is going to take a huge shift in how our society is run to make this work.
Pretty soon you'll know what I mean. Yes, a tree. But sadly though, before long it'll fail to be so easy if we continue on our behaviour so greedily. Welcome to the future. And it doesn't look so clean. I wonder who will be queen or king now Mother Nature's lost her green. Whatever will short-sightedness bring? What will happen to the paper money and things? Wasted, spunked and turned to dust. We'll be lucky if we're left with an artifact more than rust. What shall we arrange then, before we become estranged again? It must be our duty to instigate a change, my friends, before we're way out of range, the end. Now the engine's stalling, please save us before we fall in. It's flooding deeper, baby, I can feel the creeper shady. Shields down, maybe that's why we're feeling slightly hazy. So come on, praise he. Make a change, daily. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing themselves. It's you, it's all of you. You make me this promise now that you will change yourself. You won't just intellectualize this day. You will remember and practice, actively practice every day to make the change. Make me that promise. Let me hear you! Thank you to all the organisers. Thank you all for being out. I love you all.
And arrests have started on Lambeth Bridge. Lambeth, yes. Arrests have started on Lambeth Bridge as well. So let's just take a moment, send out some peace and love. Send out some non-violent, passionate action, feeling to those people who have been arrested and to those people who have made those arrests, because we're all here on the planet, innit? We're all in this together.
Big corporations are unwieldy and by necessity they're not sustainable for the planet. And local, I'm very lucky to live in a place called Frome, where we have been able to make a lot of things local and smaller. We do have a veg box scheme that people support, and we have a renewable energy co-op, and in fact co-ops are supported wholeheartedly by our independent council. So that is an ethic that permeates our town.
My name is James, I'm a musician from Frome. Froomies are here. I just want to give a bit of a shout out about permaculture. Are there any, hey, some more permies here. So, you know, there's lots we can demand other people do, we can demand the government do this and that, and we can make the effort to do the recycling and stuff, but there's loads more we can do, and permaculture is a big umbrella organisation, a knowledge base that tells us what we can do personally about trying to fix the ecology and growing your food successfully in harmony with nature. So check that out, permaculture, permanent culture. We need to move beyond this idea of sustainability. We don't just want to sustain it, we want to regenerate it, right? We can, we know how to do it.
Locally produced energy, if we could produce energy in Frome with a biodigester, we could use our river, we could sell it to the people in Frome for a lot less than we're buying it off the big six. As we were just discussing, at the moment, our government isn't supporting local energy production. If that could change, and local cities, local towns could produce the energy for the people, we would all have our own vested interest, wouldn't we? We would then care if the river wasn't flowing as fast because it's too hot. We'd all care, wouldn't we, if not enough people were putting their food into the biodigester to produce the energy, and it would touch people. And that's when things make a difference, isn't it? Is when it actually touches the individual.
We gather united, extinction, rebellion. But you won't hear about us by just putting your telly on. You won't hear the facts or see picture in focus, because control of the media is just one of the ways that they joke us. They won't share our message or highlight our actions. They'll pretend we're not here, give out other distractions. But is it not thrilling, empowering, amazing? So many now gather, consequences unfazing. For such a truth, a crazy fact, we have no choice. We have to act. It's time to rise and mass in number, to shake ourselves and wake from slumber. For we face an ecological disaster. It's getting so much faster. As day on day on day, delete, destruct, destroy till obsolete. We gorge on all delicious dollops, ignore the impacts, bangs and wallops. Enticed by squelchy, squelchy, squirmy squishers, merged together, so delicious. Such tangy, tasty tantalism within consumption greeds our vision. Yet as every mouthful, every morsel, depleting resource taken forceful, a fatal recipe's created, this endless hunger's never sated. We're existing in a world of greed. We ignore our planet, die and bleed. Deny the truth by the dreams. Do not listen to the screams. Such make-believe, such play pretend. Our time on earth is gonna end. We clog it up, we choke it out. We can't continue, there's no doubt. Our plastic suffocates the seas and corporate greed destroys the trees. Our rubbish fills the earth till busting, polluted air that tastes disgusting. And yet as we each stay ignoring, do not listen, the facts are boring. The desolation keeps on growing, relentlessly the darkness flowing. And now it will change if now it's done, the outcome stays so bleak and glum. So we've come together to face the fact. We need to change, we need to act. Rebel for life, let's not pretend. Our world, our home, we will defend.
The idea that you could solve the food shortage problem by growing it with lights and stacked high and in polystyrene containers is so disconnected from the idea then I think that we share, which would be working with nature. So we need to be outside, we need to feel the earth under our feet. Absolutely, I'm a forest school leader, it's my job. I get children outside, that's what I do. I get them out of schools and lo and behold, I'm extremely popular. The children go, yay, there's Alex, we're going outside. It's what people want to do, naturally, isn't it? Like a dog, you put a child on a bit of grass, it runs. We're put in front of screens now from a very young age, aren't we? We're entertained. I think children will see animals on Living Planet. It's a great series, isn't it? Everyone's seen the animals on, yes. I mean, the people who care have already cut down on their travel. They don't fly, they don't eat meat. If you still eat meat, then you treat that as a real special occasion. It's your birthday, it's your, that's when you're allowed it. Travel, do you really need to go there? You need to work locally, don't you? I mean, for me, that's a holy grail. I can cycle to where I work now. I feel like I've made it. I feel very lucky. What can we do? Think about where our food comes from. Does it have palm oil in it? If it does, don't eat it. You don't have to worry about going on a diet then. If you don't eat palm oil, you're not going to be eating cakes and biscuits. You'll be slim because there's nothing instant without palm oil in it. It is. Am I assuming then that people have made those changes already and they haven't? What do? Talk to people.
Good afternoon, everybody. We've just heard that there's been 7 arrests on Lambeth Bridge. So sending a lot of love and gratitude to those conscientious protectors, as we call ourselves. We're taking the law from nature. And nature requires us to look after her and look after the future and life on earth, so that's where our leading is from, our hearts. This is about the European Convention of Human Rights, Article 9. This is about our right to express our conscience. And if you're not already, please do sign up to Mission Life Force, where you can become a trustee of the earth, and if you do get arrested, you can use that as part of your defence, that this is coming from your heart, this is about conscientious protection.